Pixie and welcome to Pixie's Pit. On today's episode, I will be recapping some of the highlights of last night's AEW Dynamite and trying Pringles, Parmesan and roasted garlic. And we also have loads of cheesy garlic bread by PC or President's Choice. Alright, so let's start with the taste test. Let's get into these Pringles, Parmesan and roasted garlic. Now, the Pringles mascot looks a little bit different to me. If you think that they changed him or he looks modified, let me know in the comment section below what you think's different about him. Alright, so let's get these open. There we go. Let's pour them in our bowl. Okay. So let's have a look. They're quite large. I like that. Now I smell a little bit of garlic, but nothing too intense or over the top. So let's see here. Garlic kicking in a bit. So far it tastes like a plain chip with a little bit of garlic and a lot of salt. Do one more to be sure. I do taste garlic. It doesn't necessarily taste roasted to me. I do taste cheese, but nothing that's overly cheesy to me. And I do taste quite a bit of salt. It does taste like garlic. Does it live up to expectation? No. If I was blindfolded, would I have any idea what this chip was supposed to taste like? No. I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10 horns in the air. An interesting concept, but the execution wasn't great and a little bit disappointing. All right. Well, we'll try PC's loads of cheesy garlic bread. So we got this one. I'm going to rip it open. And this one actually is supposed to taste like garlic bread, whereas the other one just said Parmesan and roasted garlic. It didn't go so far as to say garlic bread. So, wow, they're ridge chips, which I really like. So that's kind of cool. They have those cool ridges. And they do actually look a lot more seasoned, and they have kind of an orangish yellow color to them, which is interesting. All right. So let's see what we shall see. It's interesting. It does sort of have that kind of buttery garlic bread taste to it. Not necessarily the garlic aspect of it, but that kind of buttery aspect to it. Let's see. These ridges are really nice. The texture is really great. I can't discern if it really tastes like what it's supposed to, though. Bit of garlic. I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10 horns in the air. It is better than the Pringles version. Do either of them really taste like what they're supposed to taste like? No. If I was blindfolded, would I think that either had anything to do with, in this case, a garlic bread one or that one, a roasted garlic? Not necessarily. Bold claims, delivery not 100%, but I have to say that I do prefer the PC version to the Pringles version. All right. So for last night's Dynamite, CM Punk was a special guest commentator. The first match was Adam Cole versus the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian. The two men locked up and Cole sent Kaz flying over the top rope. Cole kicked Frankie in the face. Kaz tried a submission move, blocked a thrust kick, and used a reverse suplex for a 2 count. Cole super kicked Kaz and attempted the Panama City Sunrise. Frankie used a springboard leg drop. They exchanged blows and Kaz delivered a lariat. Cole was able to hit the Panama City Sunrise, followed by a running knee for the win. Cole took the mic and asked, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby?" I am, of course. Cole says that in the short time he's been in AEW, there are 3 guys who've gotten under his skin: Christian, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy. He challenges them to a match at Rampage Grand Slam. He says the Super Click is back, baby. Next, Fuego del Sol challenges Miro, the Redeemer, to a match on Rampage and says he will put his new car on the line. Next, MJF comes out with Wardlow. He says he knows some of his comments may have offended some of the viewers, but he doesn't care. Brian Pillman Jr. comes out with a steel chair, and MJF and Wardlow flee. Backstage, Christian Cage accepts Adam Cole's challenge and says that Cole is used to being the Wednesday night war, being the loser of that war, and now he's going to add Friday night to him losing that war as well. Next, it is Dante Martin and Matt Sydal versus FTR with Tully Blanchard. Cash chopped Dante and threw him into the ring post. Dante and Sydal used a double springboard off the ropes, landing on FTR outside of the ring. It was actually a really incredible move. I really like that. Matt Sydal also used a Hurricanrana on Wheeler, and FTR delivered the big rig on Dante for the win. I love watching Dante and Sydal's high-flying and exciting wrestling. They have great moves. I just thought that FTR was a little bit grounded, so they didn't make the best opponents for them, in my opinion. Next, we see Suzuki and Archer. They're backstage, and the Murder Hawk Monster says that Mox and Kingston are going to find out what strong style is all about. The lights went out, and Malachi Black made his way to the ring. Black asked members of the House of Black to rise and said, "We have an enemy in our midst." In the front row was actress Rosario Dawson, sporting a Nightmare Family jacket. As Black approached her, she jumped on his back. She tried to stay on his back like she was riding a bucking bronco. Cody Rhodes, dressed in a eye-blinding red suit, ran through the crowd towards Black with his short white hair. The combination of his hair and his suit, basically he looked like a supervillain, even though he's supposed to be the hero. The two brawled through the stands, throwing cups of beer at each other, and they will meet up on Dynamite. Next, we see Lambert, an American team, in the ring. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page are standing there with him as well. Lambert calls the fans morons, and out comes Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Lambert says Jericho will do whatever it takes to get the fans to spend their allowance on Fozzy albums. He deliberately mispronounces Fozzy. Jericho refers to Lambert as a fat-faced dipshit and gets the fans to chant, "I'm a fat-faced dipshit, yeah, yeah, yeah." Jericho asks which members of American Top Team are on top. Jericho tells Lambert that he's going to knock his chipmunk teeth back down his throat, and that Page and Scorpio Sky, there's going to be no escape from New York for them. CM Punk is accosted by Taz and Hook at the commentators' table. Taz asks CM Punk if he's trying to take his job. Punk stands up and stares down Hook. Powerhouse Hobbs attacks Punk from behind. Hook uses a dragon suplex on Punk. Hobbs smashes Punk through the commentator's table. It looked like Punk banged his head, actually, on the way down, which was not good. The next match was Darby Allin with Sting versus Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard. Spears threw Darby into the steel steps outside the ring, and Spears kneed Darby's head into the steps. Darby was about to attempt a tope suicida, but Tully blocked it. Spears pulled Darby out of the ring, and he hit his head on the apron. Spears took a towel from ringside and rubbed off Darby's makeup. Spears put Darby in the Scorpion Deathlock and eyed Sting. Darby got a 2 count with a drop kick, followed by a code red. Spears manhandled Darby with Darby's own chain. Darby countered a C4 attempt from Spears, flew into Spears, and delivered the coffin drop for the win. After the match, FTR began beating down Darby and Sting. Tully attacked Sting from behind with a chair. Unfazed, Sting turned around about to chase Tully, but FTR used a spiked pile driver on Sting. Tully used a towel to wipe off Sting's face paint. Next, Schiavone interviews Bryan Danielson. Callis and Omega come out. Callis refers to Danielson as the hippie millionaire. Callis says AEW was built on the back of Kenny Omega. I agree with that statement. I'd also like to add that it was also built on the backs of the Young Bucks, Chris Jericho, and Cody Rhodes as well. Danielson says that he wants to fight the best bout machine, the god of professional wrestling. He says he thinks that Kenny has lost his balls. Kenny says, "You want the best bout machine, the god of professional wrestling?" My answer is yes. The two will face off next week on Dynamite. The main event of the evening was Mox and the Mad King versus 2.0 with Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia and 2.0 tried to attack and jump them before the match even began. Parker gouged Mox's eyes. Mox bit Matt Lee's forehead. Kingston chopped Lee and used a spinning back fist on Parker and a DDT. Mox and Kingston used a combination exploder suplex and lariat on Parker for the win. Suzuki came down to the ring to face Mox. Archer ripped Kingston out of the ring by his ankles. Kingston and Archer brawled through the crowd. Mox and Suzuki exchanged blows on top of the timekeeper's table. Mox hit Suzuki's already injured eye with the microphone. Let me know if you are excited to watch next week's Grand Slam. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like the content, please make sure to give the video a big like and subscribe because we're trying to build a cool community. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye and good night.